There's a specific moment in human development that not too many people talk about. It's the moment when your brain is learning something new faster than your identity can keep up with. It's not fear, it's not self doubt, it's not a lack of confidence. It's the psychological friction of expansion. When you step into a new skill, a new role, or a new level of visibility, your nervous system sends out a very particular signal. This is unfamiliar. And most people tend to interpret that signal as a warning. But in developmental psychology, that signal is actually the first proof that growth is happening. It's the moment your internal world is reorganizing itself to include a version of you that didn't exist before. That is the real discomfort of being a beginner. It's not incompetence, but identity in motion. You see, we tend to think of being a beginner as a deficit, but the beginner state is one of the most powerful psychological states a human can actually be in. Because it's the moment where your brain is forming new pathways, your identity is expanding, your internal model of the world is being updated, and your sense of self is stretching into something new. It's stretching to include these new things. Children experience this constantly. And more often than not, they don't expect themselves to know everything. They expect themselves to learn. They expect to have to try things, to experiment, to get messy, to make mistakes, and to try again. And because they expect it, they don't interpret that discomfort as a threat, the way a lot of us adults do. They interpret it as a part of becoming someone new. We adults tend to forget this. We forget that growth is supposed to feel a bit awkward. We forget that learning is supposed to feel unfamiliar. And we forget that being a beginner is supposed to feel like stretching into a new shape. Children don't resist the beginner state. They live in it. And that's why they grow so quickly. The discomfort of being a beginner comes from one thing primarily: identity lag. Your mind is stepping into a new role, a new skill, or that, again, new level of visibility. But your body hasn't caught up yet. So what happens? We tend to feel unsteady, overly aware of ourselves, unsure of our pacing, unsure of our voices, unsure of how we're being perceived. And this is not incompetence. This is the psychological experience of growth. Children show this all the time through blurting stuff out, fidgeting, frustration, hesitation, excitement. Leaders show this through over-explaining, tightening up their delivery, filling silence, or rushing through things. Oh, and apologizing for not being perfect. It's different behaviors, but the same signal. Your system is saying, and I want you to listen to it. Here's what it's saying. I'm learning something new. Give me a moment to integrate it. In my book, and specifically in chapter 9 of my book, I talk about competency as the moment that a child moves from I don't know if I can to I know I can try. That shift is the heart of growth. Children don't tie their worth to mastery. They tie it to effort. They don't, nor should they, expect themselves to be good at everything. They expect themselves to practice. We all should. And because children expect it, they don't collapse when something feels hard. They don't interpret difficulty as a flaw. They interpret it as a part of the process. Adults, as wonderful adults, on the other hand, tend to interpret that same difficulty as evidence that something is wrong. But the discomfort isn't the problem. The discomfort is the proof. It's the internal indicator that you're in motion, that you're learning, that you're stretching and expanding into a version of yourself you haven't inhabited yet. Leaders grow the same way children do, but with one key difference. Children get to be beginners in private or semi-private. Leaders have to be beginners in public. And that's why the discomfort feels sharper. That's why the stakes feel higher. That's why the self-consciousness shows up. But the psychology is identical. When you feel unsteady, it doesn't mean you're unprepared. It means you're expanding. When your voice tightens, it doesn't mean you're not credible. It means your identity is stretching. When your pacing speeds up, it doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means your internal tempo hasn't synced with your new role yet. This is the part that most people miss. The discomfort is not a sign to stop. It's a sign to keep going. And I really want you to. So there are 3 things that you can do that will help you move through the discomfort of being a beginner. And here they are. Okay. Number 1, you're going to name it. Name it. This discomfort is a signal that I am learning. Naming it reduces the threat response. Number 2, you're going to normalize it. Of course, this feels unfamiliar. I'm expanding. Normalizing it reduces shame. And number 3, probably the hardest one, you're going to stay with it. Stay with it. Don't rush through it. Don't abandon the moment. Let your identity catch up to your growth. Children do this naturally. As adults, we have to relearn it. Look, growth isn't clean. It isn't polished. It isn't comfortable. Growth is the moment you feel unsteady and you choose to keep going anyway. Being a beginner isn't a step backward. It's the doorway to expansion. And if you can learn to interpret that discomfort as a signal, not a warning, you'll grow faster, deeper, and more sustainably than you ever have before.